10 celebrities who relapsed but got sober again. Before we start, I want you to hit that red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Star Time Success. Here are 10 celebrities who relapsed but got sober again. Number 10, Macklemore. Over the years, Macklemore has been very open as he discussed his struggles getting sober and staying sober. We've all been through a lot of things during the COVID-19 pandemic, and that includes celebrities. This wasn't the first time that he relapsed, as he entered rehab 2 times, once in 2008 and again in 2011. Macklemore knows how hard it is to stay sober, as it wasn't the first time he's relapsed. As a result, he doesn't focus on the days he's been sober. Instead, he works on bettering himself and trying to remain sober.
Michael and Whitney, that's Amy Ledger and Pimp C, that's Yams, that's DJ AM.
Number 9, Dax Shepard. Dax Shepard is another celebrity who struggled with addiction and remaining sober. Recently, he shared that he is sober again after a brief relapse. This wasn't the first time that he's relapsed in the years that he's been sober. In fact, the first time he relapsed was 8 years into being sober, and it was when his father was dying. After that, he had quite a few hiccups throughout the years, but nothing that he couldn't overcome. Recently, after getting hurt, he had to take painkillers, and that's what triggered him to relapse again. Since his little slip up, he's gotten sober again and plans to stay that way with the help of his wife, Kirsten Bell.
Someone who just won't quit.
Right.
And
Number 8, Robert Downey Jr. It's no secret that Robert Downey Jr. has struggled with a lot of drugs and staying sober over the years. From a very young age, he started using drugs, and he wasn't in and out of jail for possession of drugs like heroin and cocaine. In 2001 was when he ultimately hit rock bottom when he ordered to go to rehab. In 2003, he made the proud announcement that he was drug-free and planned to stay that way. Downey Jr. proved that even though he relapsed multiple times, he was still able to overcome it and makes a very successful career for himself.
I am Iron Man, and this is for the people.
Number 7, Kelly Osbourne. Kelly Osbourne has struggled with alcohol throughout her life. Recently, Kelly shared that during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, she had a nervous breakdown and wound up relapsing. Prior to her relapse, she had been sober from alcohol for nearly 4 years. Everything was going well for Kelly, and she wasn't sure why this even happened, but the relapse taught her that she is still an addict, and that is something that she's going to have to deal with always. Despite the fact that she relapsed, she is currently taking things one at a time, and she's sober yet again.
In both the comment section of her recent posts and in online articles from certain media outlets surrounding her.
Number 6, Eminem. Addiction is something that Eminem struggled with for pretty much his entire life. Over the years, he's been in and out of rehab, and he relapsed several times. The first time that Eminem entered rehab was in 2005, but his time there didn't really work, as he ended up in the hospital not long after with an overdose. Nearly dying scared him, as he vowed to get sober. Unfortunately, after getting sober for a second time, he suffered an awful knee injury, and he was forced to take pain pills when he could no longer handle the pain, and he lost control of himself. In 2008, Eminem entered rehab again, where he dedicated himself to getting sober. Since then, he's been drug-free and very happy and healthy.
You're not alone. Holla if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Number 5, Demi Lovato. We all remember when Demi was rushed to the hospital when they were found unresponsive when they overdosed. Everyone was thankful to find out that Demi would make a full recovery, and she then vowed that she would get sober. Recently, however, Demi admitted in their documentary after they relapsed shortly after their overdose, Demi has struggled for years with their addiction and has been in and out of rehab several times. These days, however, Demi is happily drug-free and is vowing to stay sober.
Closer than you know. Playing with the
Number 4, Miley Cyrus. We all know that Miley has struggled with her sobriety, and she recently admitted that she relapsed. The pandemic was a hard time for everyone, especially Miley. During lockdown, Miley struggled with her mental health, and as a result, turned to a bit of drinking to help her. Thankfully, she had only relapsed on alcohol and not drugs. It was when she turned 27 that she decided to get sober for good, not wanting to die at an early age and become a member of the 27 Club. Since her minor hiccup, Miley has worked hard to maintain her sobriety and hopes to keep it that way. Number 3, Keith Urban. Keith Urban has also struggled with addiction, but thanks to his wife Nicole Kidman, she helped him get through a relapse. Keith had been sober for years when he had one tiny little slip up that changed everything for him. At one point, Nicole Kidman was off filming in another country when Keith relapsed. Wanting to help her husband, she immediately flew back to be by his side, where she worked with him to get back on track again. To help him further, Keith went to rehab to get his life back on track again, and he's been doing well ever since.
I'm not trying to I'll be another just pick you up kind of guy.
Number 2, Ben Affleck. It's no secret that Ben Affleck has struggled with sobriety over the years and even relapsed a few times. He has struggled with alcohol, and in 2019 he had a very public relapse after he had been sober for a year. In the past few years, he was in and out of rehab a few times. However, addiction doesn't magically go away. And Ben struggled. Even though he recently relapsed, he's committed to staying sober and facing all the challenges that his addiction throws at him. With the help of his ex, Jennifer Garner, and the children they share together, Ben works hard to stay strong and stay sober.
But I knew that if I didn't get it together, the movie wouldn't work. You know, and to me it's
Number 1. AJ McLean. Backstreet Boys singer AJ McLean struggled with drugs and staying sober throughout his entire life. A few months ago, he revealed that he suffered a relapse. In over 2 decades, AJ has struggled with his addiction to both drugs and alcohol. However, it was his daughter that gave him a huge wake-up call. After a night of partying in Vegas, he flew home to see his wife and kids, apparently smelling of alcohol. His daughter, Lyric, told him, "You don't smell like my dad," and that was all he needed to want to get sober for good. Since then, he has been back on the wagon and plans to stay there. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also watch the next 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.